to solve problems you guys are working on. And last year they did 3. It's the first time I've ever done 3. 1, housing for poor people. They said the Habitat for Humanity model works great because poor people help to build their own houses, and the only real cost is in the labor materials. You got all these Habitat volunteers helping to know what they're doing. But it's so labor intensive that you got to make sure the materials are there. It's very hard to scale up. So how would you do $1 million a year? First problem. Second problem was there may be nearly 100 million children who never go to school at all, but there are more than that that go to school in name only because they don't have trained teachers and good learning materials. The 1 laptop per child model offers the promise of curing that. You get on the internet, assuming you can power it up, and every kid's got a laptop, you don't have to worry about the learning materials. And a lot of kids will teach themselves, and the teachers can learn along with them. But how would you get 20 million of them out in a year? This is too slow. The third one is the most important and most relevant. The third problem was we got all these solar villages in India and several in Africa that my partners have put up. We just built the biggest solar building in the Caribbean and a new hospital, teaching hospital in Haiti, the poorest country in the Caribbean, with the highest electric rates, 36 cents a kilowatt hour, has 1,800 solar panels. But the whole guy said, that's all very well. But the problem is, how would you fix 20 million buildings in a year? Now this contest is not open just to their students. Any economics department in the world and any business school in the world can file a business plan. The winner of the solar contest this year was the New York University campus in Abu Dhabi. And the team, who's the list? The team was 4 students, 1 from India and 1 from Pakistan, 1 from China and 1 from Taiwan. So when they came up on the stage and we're supposed to pose for a picture, I said, are you sure you guys want this in the local paper? And they said in various ways, we are so over it. Look, the differences between India and Pakistan over Kashmir are real. And they go back more than 60 years to the unresolved way Kashmir was left when the British withdrew. And it ought to be resolved with some variation of what they did in Ireland. But that's not for the rest of us to say. But the rest of us can help the young people of India and Pakistan look at tomorrow instead of yesterday. The tensions between China and Taiwan are not nearly as severe as they were when I was president, partly because more than 10 million mainland Chinese work for companies owned by Taiwanese. And they know if they just let well enough alone, this thing will work itself out some way or another. But the Chinese, as we all know, are still highly sensitive to any suggestions from outsiders about what they continue to believe is their territorial sovereignty over Taiwan. It doesn't cross those young people's minds. They're living 10 years from now. They have something to look forward to. They know that cooperation works better than conflict, that an open hand is fought better than a closed fist. But getting there is going to be tough in this environment. One of my favorite lines from the great Irish poet William Butler Yeats is that too long a sacrifice can make a stone of the heart. It's not like we've got all the time in the world here. But I don't think any of you should minimize the impact that one new business investment, that one cooperative partnership, that one effort to empower entrepreneurs that one effort to have real collaboration between small and medium enterprises across national lines can have. The great 87-year-old Nobel Prize-winning biologist E.O. Wilson has just written what will probably be his last book. It's called The Social Conquest of Earth. About half the book is a fascinating history of our own species and all the series of prehistoric accidents that happened to allow Homo sapiens to first emerge and then survive. But the most important thing to me is he said, if you look at the history of Earth, it is the conquest went to the cooperators, to the ants, the termites, the bees, and the human beings. It might surprise you to know that the combined weight of all the ants on Earth exceeds the combined weight of all the people on Earth. They have very sophisticated, highly cooperative societies. He said, humans are the only ones, as far as we know, with self-consciousness, self-awareness, a conscience, and the ability to be wildly creative, so that the possibilities for us are enormous. But it also makes us arrogant and gives us the illusion that we can be in possession of the whole truth. And so the humans are the only one of these four cooperators with a tendency to self-destruction. We forget, as I said the other night in Charlotte, that nobody's right all the time, and broken clocks right twice a day. And the rest of us are compelled to spend our lives between the extremes, hoping to goodness we'll be twice a day. So I say that because Wilson, in his valedictory book, one of the most distinguished scientists of the last 150 years, said that is what the human beings have to remember. Our glory is we don't cooperate like ants and termites and bees. We can actually create whole different futures instead of just adapt to survive and grow our numbers. Our risk is that we're prone to self-destruction. And we concentrate almost all of our energies on our differences. According to the Human Genome Project, all people on Earth, including all of you, who are not 100% descendant from sub-Saharan Africans, have between 1% and 4% of our genome inherited from the Neanderthals, our pre-human ancestors that occupied non-Africa for 40,000 years with us. And it turns out we liked each other better than we knew. According to the Human Genome Project, all people on planet Earth are roughly 99.5% the same. That is, if you look around this room, every non-age-related difference evident to us in this room, including gender, skin color, eye color, body size and shape, everything is rooted in only 0.5% of our biological differences. But we spend 99.5% of our lives obsessing about that 0.5%. And about 0.5% of our lives thinking about the 99.5% of us that is just like everybody else. I think the great trick in making the most of this modern world is to focus just a little more of our consciousness on the 99.5% we share with everybody else, and to get everybody to think more about the future